Hey guys, so I wanted to make this stream because, well, it's been a pretty eventful day for me and another individual, and I've just been on the phone and I've just been thinking a lot. But yeah, so I wanted to say time flies because I've been in the process of decluttering, and because I can hyper focus on this stuff right now. I've been thinking like, oh, okay, well, let me work on having a decluttering system. So, for example, you guys know I've been on this whole thing about decluttering and trying to be more organized and moving things around, and it's really been like touch and go sort of thing. It hasn't been the fastest process, and part of the reason being is like I work on something and then I say like, okay, let me declutter this, and then let me declutter this, and then let me declutter this. And I'm that kind of person. Like, I used to do free boxes. So what I mean by free boxes is I had things outside of where we live. I had a cardboard box that I was tying a fence to. I had a cardboard box that I put twine in. If you guys look at my stream about free boxes, you'll see it. It's basically a big box with four holes punched in, twine through it, and then I put stuff inside. Now, the problem with that setup was after a while, I realized like, hey, people are tossing their coffee cups in here. People are tossing their bottles in there. And I would put things in the morning and then I'd feel like, oh, I gotta monitor my own box because I don't want people tossing things on there. And in the event of in the case of the coffee cup, the coffee actually spilled on some clothes, so I thought, frig, now I gotta rewash this clothes. And I rewashed it, dried it, and then I put it back out the next week. And yeah, so it kind of mentally just made me think like, I don't really want to do a free box because if it's any clothing item, I'm just worried that there's going to be some jerk who tosses things into that free box. So I had a bottleneck for a little bit, and that was about 2 weeks. And yeah, I was thinking like, oh crap, this sucks because I have this goal where I want to declutter. I don't want to donate it to really a charity shop because, as I've shared with you guys before, the problem with donating in a charity shop is you're not guaranteed that these items will go off in the community. A lot of the stuff actually gets either shipped over to a third world country because they have way too much clothes, or alternatively, it goes in the landfill. It's been documented in New York at least, so that's definitely made me think like, hey, I gotta be more mindful about this kind of stuff. So yeah, I could have just dropped it off at a charity shop, but I thought like, I want to make sure this stuff goes directly in the community, and let me make sure all these items have a home for this. So yeah, I'm joined in a few free groups online. I do recommend going on Facebook. There's also things like Free Cycle. So if you have a Facebook group, there are local groups, Free Cycle groups, like Sidewalk Find groups, Buy Nothing groups, for instance. And typically, what you do is you put stuff like, oh, I'm located near so and so, and I'm typically free from so and so, or like I'll be free on Saturday, and then you'll list the items there. So for instance, right, one Hollister top, size small Hollister top, 10-inch wooden figurine. You get the idea, right? So people will comment, and then you can clearly state like, oh, I will look at the list or do a drawing if multiple parties are interested on 2 days from now or something like that. So it's like you post it, you forget it, and you let people post if they're interested or not. So people will post like, I'm interested, or I'm interested in the wooden figurine, or I'm interested in the Hollister shirt, and then from there you coordinate the time with that. Now, most of my encounters, I'd say like 90% of my encounters go off without a hitch. You would say something like, oh, let me know when you're free, and then they'll say, oh, I can meet up with you at like 2:30 on Saturday. Okay, and I say something typically like, let me know when you're 5 minutes away. And then they'll message you, and then you'll meet up with them and then give them the item. There's no real small talk. It's just like, oh, thanks, thanks for the item and take care. That's it. And you just go on your way. So I remember that there was this one guy, and I know people would say, Erica, you're being really sensitive over here. But there was this one guy where he was, oh, let me see. Yeah, so I'm gonna read chat after I'm done with this kind of thing, because I have this kind of mind that I get real sidetracked really fast. So there was this one guy in one of my Facebook groups where he said something like he had this goal of posting 100 items in 100 days. And I thought to myself, like, that's really ambitious. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if someone says I'm gonna do something every single day and I'm gonna stick to it, maybe I'm being a pessimist, but I thought, like, most likely he's going to fail. And I thought maybe he'll fail in, like, the 10th day, the 15th day or so. So he posts on the 16th of April, and he posts, one item, and he states something along the lines of, what does he post? He says something along the lines of, I'm not going to post junk. I'm only going to post, like, items that are valuable, or items that but he specifically said, like, he's not going to post junk. And I thought to myself, like, I took that as a jab, because I thought, man, I'm probably the most prolific poster there. And yeah, he's probably thinking, like, why is this person posting things like, like random stuff? And yeah, I was like, okay, so you're gonna say you're not gonna post junk. Okay, let's see how long you post. Let's see if you can do the 100 days. So he posts on the 16th, and then people show interest in his one item. Then he posts on the 17th. He posts twice that day, and he posts a total, I think, of like 8 items. And then he posts on the 18th 2 items, but nobody shows interest on the 2 items. And I think to myself, like, okay, well, yeah, he's going to post on the 19th. And I thought, well, if he wants, I know he wasn't thinking of me or anything like that, but I thought, man, if he's going to post, then I'm going to frickin' post too. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to stay with this whole decluttering thing, because I don't want to just, like, look back and be like, man, this guy was posting about junk and, yeah, stuff like that. So for me, I don't have, like, I try to post every single week. I'll post maybe multiple times a week, but yeah, I always thought, like, once a week, at least 5 items. That way, well, 5 times, 5 times 4, that's 20 items a month. That's not bad. And then also, with my free box, that was the way I was getting rid of things as well. So things are, like, moving out of the apartment, and there's less and less and less things. But I figure, like, hey, now I'm going at things with, like, a fine-tooth comb. So going back to my story, right? So on the 18th, he posted 2 items. There was 0 interest. Unlike on the 16th and 17th, where people were like, oh, I want this artwork, or oh, I want this stuff. Nobody wanted his 2 items on the 18th. And that 2 item was actually 2 used hats. So, you figure with people with lice or lice concerns, they're like, I don't want to have a hat, especially a used hat. So I understood. And then he stopped posting. So since the 18th, he has not posted at all. And I thought to myself, like, oh man, this guy fell off the bandwagon. And it made me really think about the way people are, right? You go at this goal and you say, like, I'm gonna like lose weight. I'm gonna lose like 1 pound a week or so. I'm gonna exercise every day. And then you mess up. And then you break your cycle. Like, for him to declare 100 days, I thought, man, this guy is either going to be really gung-ho or he's going to fail. And I know myself, like, if I do this 100-day thing, I most likely I'm not going to be successful. Because even when it comes down to supplements, I don't take supplements every single day. I'll take it maybe like 5 times a week or 6 times a week, but there'll always be a day where I'm like, oh crap, I lost, I forgot about it. And what I do is I get back on track. So for this guy, once like the 19th popped around, I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe he'll just, he did say maybe he'll post like once a week instead. So I waited. And then the next week, I didn't see anything. 2 weeks later, I didn't see anything. Now we are on June 2nd. It's been 45 days since he posted his 2 hats on the 18th, and there's nothing. And I was thinking to myself, like, oh, here I am posting my stuff every freaking week. It's not much, but I am moving ahead of this guy. And I know people are going to say, Erica, this isn't a competition, but His whole goal is he wanted to declutter 100 items by July. I am definitely much closer. I don't even know if I exceeded that goal because I haven't kept track of how much items I've decluttered since April 16th, but it was quite a bit. But yeah, if you have a goal in mind and you fall off track, like, you got to get back up. So this guy, right, he was thinking short term, like, okay, this is going to be the 100 items that I want to, I'm going to make sure that I get rid of 100 items in 100 days. And I remember what he wrote in his original post was he wanted to see how far he would come in July. And I'm thinking to myself, like, he was so hyped up about this 100 days thing. He fell off the bandwagon, and then he probably was embarrassed. He was like, oh, I haven't posted in, like, a week, 2 weeks. Oh, it's embarrassing. Yeah, I don't want to, he doesn't want to appear. And I know this guy doesn't know I'm over here, and I'm like, yeah, okay, this guy hasn't posted. I'm going to repost. I'm going to beat this guy. I'm going to make sure that I stay consistent. And that has been part of my motivation because time has been flying. And yeah, so now I have this system in place that I just started 2 days ago where I post something and then I say, oh, okay, this is going to be the deadline if you want to show interest. And on that deadline, let's say I say, okay, I post on Monday, and then Wednesday I say, okay, my deadline is going to be 3 p.m. on Wednesday, right? When 3 p.m. comes around, or even, if I don't reply on 3 p.m. on Wednesday, like, no one cares, really. So I'll post on, I'll reply back on Thursday. But the time that I reply to people and I say, you have this item, what I'll do is the same day, I'll repost another post and I'll say, okay, these are my items that I have to give away. And the next time I'm gonna, if anybody's interested, I'll contact you guys, let's say on Friday instead, right? Friday comes around, I contact those people, and then I'll post another post same day. So that's why it's always in a cycle of either I'm waiting for people to show interest, or alternatively, I'm waiting for people to get show interest, or when the day I'm telling people, like, yes, you got the item, let's coordinate a meetup so I can give you those items, I'm posting new items as well. So it's always like I'm either giving items away or I'm meeting up with someone, and I know people would say this is extra work, right? But this is the kind of system that works for me because every day I keep it in my mind, okay, I either have a meetup or I'm waiting for something or waiting for this thing to, I don't want to say expire, but I'm waiting for the time where I get back to people, that concrete deadline, or I'm posting a new post. So every freaking day I'm working on this kind of thing, and I'm really happy about it. I've decided that, our table that we have in front of the couch, I wanted to keep it clear, right? And now I'm thinking I'm going to put crap on it. And I know people are going to say, really, Erica? Okay, listen, hear me out, okay? So my system is I'll post items and then I'll put it into a bag. And then when people show interest in it, I'll take it out of the bag and put it on the table. So what that signifies is all the items on the table are things that I'm waiting for people to pick up. And if I see the item after a few days, I'm thinking like, okay, that person needs to get back to me, or I need to repost it. So ideally, I want to always have things on the table. Right now I have a meetup in a bit, and I'm going to give them away. I'm going to give them 5 items, but yeah, as long as I always have items on the table, then I know, okay, these are items that are going to be getting out of the apartment. So heads up, if you guys see a stream of the apartment and you're wondering how come there's so much stuff on the table, all those things are things that I have set out, so that way if someone tells me like, hey, I'm downstairs, I just grab it and I go right downstairs. It's super simple. And yeah, it's kind of like people would see that as like embarrassing, but I think like I am happy because yeah, all this stuff is gonna go out, and then there'll come a point where you might only see like 2 items on the table or 3 items on the table. But every week I want to consistently get rid of stuff because I know, right, I do the numbers, 4 items, let's say I do at least 4 items a week. I ideally want to do 10 items a week, but 10 times 4, that's 40 items a month. And then after 12, 40 times 12, right? Let's say I get rid of 40 items a month for 1 year. That's 480 items. I really don't think there's 480 items in this apartment that I can get rid of. Seriously. Maybe there's 50, but I'm giving away a lot of clothes at a clothing swap that's coming up in a few days. So yeah, I have bags of clothes and I'm like, yeah, I'll just give it at a clothing swap. I don't want to deal with meeting up people for just like one top or two tops or things like that. And yeah, so yeah, I'm really happy about it. I'm really happy about it. But yeah, for any of you guys who, let's say, you fall off the if you fall off the path, like, don't let your embarrassment or shame hold you back, because as I show you guys in this picture, right, time flies. So do not think that just because you fell short on your goal means you can never accomplish that goal. You can accomplish that goal. You just need to be persistent and consistent, and you need to see that end goal, right? For me, it's like, imagine if you have, let's say, 100 items to give away. If you give away 4 items a week, in 25 weeks you'll hit your goal. If you do 8 items a week, right, in 12 weeks you'll hit your goal. But I always thought, like, I want to do things in a way where it's consistent, and that way naturally I'll find myself in a path where it's like, I don't really have much to give away, and this apartment's looking very, very minimalistic, because it's just a byproduct of time and working at it, right? I would love it where it's like I look around the apartment and I'm like, okay, I only have like 2 items to give away this week, that's it, or 1 item to give away. And then come, right, spring cleaning, it's like, are you going to do spring cleaning? You know what, I do spring cleaning like every day or every week. And yeah, so but I am doing my little hermit crab thing. I got a scale. I got a scale like a while ago, and it was like this crummy looking scale. And yesterday I picked up a better scale. So my crummy scale that I picked up a while back, I actually posted it online, and I'm keeping my nice scale. And someone actually wants my crummy scale. So I'm like, yay, I have this nice fancy scale, and my crummy scale goes off to another home. That person's probably happy. They're like, hey, I got a free scale, and I'm happy because, yeah, I don't have to hold on to that crummy scale. So that's going to probably go off sometime. Probably leave the apartment, I'd say, within the next week, for sure. So, yeah, it's a good thing. It is a good thing. So that is all I wanted to say. And I'm going to read chat, though. I'm going to read chat, and here's where we're going to go. Oh, my goodness, I have my meetup. Oh, crap, I have my meetup in a bit. Okay, so you guys, see, this is how it is. Okay, so you guys are going to have a hold. If you guys have, like, any questions, I'll read it back in a bit. I'm going to probably head down in a few minutes. And also, here's a suggestion. Sometimes, like, if you give away, like, stuff for free, you kind of get confused because let's say if you post, let's say 10 items, right? Let's give an example. You post 10 items and there's like 8 people who want the 10 items. And then let's say you're meeting up with a person, right? What I would suggest is, let's say you have a person who's like, oh, I want that vase, right? So when you message them, you would say like, hey Mary, just wanted to know when you're free for me to give you the vase. So that way, right, if you're doing this on Facebook, when that person says like, hey, I'm coming, I'm nearby, you can scroll up and say, okay, Mary's meeting me. Oh yeah, Mary wanted the vase. And then because I have it on the table, I instantly know, okay, I just need to pick up this vase, and that's all that Mary wants. So that helps me a lot. That's my little organizing setup, but it won't look organized. Like if you look in the apartment and you see all this stuff on the table, you'll be like, what is the organization, Erica? But I would say everything on the table is heading outwards. It's right on the table because that's right next to the front door. And yeah, it's like I said, people would see it as really embarrassing, but I take a lot of pride in it because that is me moving forward. And it's just a temporary thing. If the clutter was staying there forever and I wasn't doing anything about it, then that would be embarrassing. But the fact that I'm doing something about it, that is not embarrassing. So I'm just being very transparent here because, yeah, it's important to like see that kind of stuff. No, I don't want to do this like Mary sticker on the vase, because then I have to get all these stickers and, you know, throw away the post-it and things like that, right? That's extra work. It's easier for me to just put it on the table and then say, okay, yeah, Mary's coming nearby. What does she want? Oh yeah, she wanted the vase, and I just grabbed the vase, and that's it. So this person, I told them, I said, okay, so they wanted some faux flowers, they wanted a frame, and instant coffee. So I gotta give them that. And yeah, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 2 full flowers, 1 frame, 1 instant coffee, 4 items, and yeah, I'm gonna see them in a bit. And yeah, I'm not going. Just hold on for a second. But 4 items, getting out, yay! Small victory. Okay, you wanna know something stupid? I think I misplaced my keys. Oh, where did my keys go? This is not good. Oh, never mind, my keys are right here. What am I talking about? I have my keys right next to me. So stupid. my goodness. Okay. So this is what happened. I went downstairs. I gave him a fake floral, and then I walked all the way upstairs. And then I realized, like, oh crap, one of the tips of the floral fell off. So fake floral, the way it's set up is like you got this little plastic stem, right? And you have these like flower heads that stick on there. So you can like pull them off, put them back on. And yeah, when I walked up the stairs, I was like, oh crap, one of the heads fell off. So I messaged them and I said, hey, are you still nearby? I'm so sorry. I didn't realize one of the little blooming heads fell off. And they're like, yeah. So I gave it to them, and then yeah, so it took longer than I expected. So sorry about that. But yeah, so I usually don't get rid of floral. I don't really rehome fake floral. But for this one, they were not only green, but they were red. And I have this whole thing aversion against red right now. Because the wall is red, right? So I hate the color red in terms of floral. Seriously, I really hate red. It looks so aggressive and it doesn't look calming. So, yeah. I usually go with like solid green, solid white, shades of pink or shades of green, and that's really the tried and true. So anything like red, bright purple, maroon, yeah, I don't really like that at all. So let me read this stuff. I'm so sorry for this. And oh, actually, you know what? Let me go over to my live stream. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so regards to Rob. Sorry, Rob, for keeping you waiting. But Rob said, I know this is random and possibly to keep deep inappropriate, but in reference to the video title, how do you move forward when your health is poor? I really struggle mentally moving forward. So depending on, I would say, and I know this is going to sound strange, but do little things to move forward. So for instance, right? I've been very open about having depression and anxiety. It's been much better ever since I upped my nutrition. For instance, right? One of the reasons why I'm always like talking about like butter and meat is because I realized that throughout most of my life, I was very low protein and I was low animal meat. And I always thought like, oh yeah, I'll just eat more vegetables. I want to stay away from animal fats. I want to, it's not good for me. I don't want to end up with a heart attack. And when I was changing up diets, I've said this before, but I went through like this huge amount of depression, like super depressed, when I tried to go vegetarian/vegan. I tried to cut out all the animal products. I was like, I wouldn't really consider myself like vegan, but I tried to cut out everything I could in terms of animal products, and my mental health plummeted. So for that kind of stuff, so that's when I made that connection between my diet and my mental health. There is a connection there. So ever since I started incorporating animal products, my mood has been much, much better. But if you struggle mentally with depression, I find that what works is doing the little things. I've told you guys that if you are depressed, if you are feeling off that day, take a shower. For instance, right? Let's say you're feeling you're feeling crummy, and I notice that like for certain people, and I've known several depressed individuals in my life, when they get really lost in their head or when they're really self-loathing, they don't take showers. And there's a difference between, oh, I forgot to take a shower because I stayed up, or I fell asleep early, versus I feel so crappy that I don't want to invest time in myself. And I feel like taking a shower is a really good way of like washing the negativity off you. Taking like not just like washing your body, but like letting the warm water hit your body, and then it's just like purifying. I know that sounds so cliche here, but listen, hear me out. When after you take a shower, don't you feel so fresh and clean? That kind of thing. It's very important to have that kind of like fresh and clean feeling, that new start feeling, if you are depressed. Because if you are depressed, that's typically because you feel like there's something like holding you back. There's some sort of thing that's like negative. And so when I was like really bad, I would take like 2 showers a day or so, sometimes 3 showers a day, because I realized like I gotta break this freaking cycle, for sure. And it, you know, it seems to work. There's some days that I'm kind of feeling like not so great, so I'll take an extra shower. But yeah, it's not very often because my diet is much better. So you have that. So take a shower is a good one. Make sure you eat better. So that's another thing. And then do small little things which make you feel confident. So for instance, right, let's say you're not happy with how your closet looks like, right? And you have the ability to, let's say, to declutter, organize, like that kind of stuff works. And then but the most important thing is that you need to see, you have to have a desire to get better. You have to have a desire to move forward. Like for instance, right, it's like you see the end goal. And I know it's hard for me to put it into words, but you need to have this innate gut instinct within you, like, I'm struggling right now, but I'm going to do what I can to have myself mentally be in place. So the way you can move forward when your personal health is poor is you need to have hope. And I don't want to sound preachy over here, but if you have hope that you can see like an end goal for yourself, and you have, like, let's say you find satisfaction in hitting little goals, whether it be something like, oh, I watched a, you know, I did some, you know, I had a conversation with one of my friends that I haven't spoken to a long time, or I washed the dishes, or, you know, I'm eating healthier, or I'm not drinking soda anymore, I'm not smoking anymore. Those kind of little goals really add up, and that helps you move forward, because as I've said in my previous streams, if you do not face certain fears, right? If you do not face your insecurities and your fears, they will get worse and worse, and they will hinder you. It's kind of like I see people like being runners, right? You know, runners, and then they do the hurdles. You know, when they jump over the, let me show you guys this one. Hurdles. Runner, hurdle. This is how I view people in life. We got all these hurdles in front of us. And sometimes, right, not everyone's going to be like an Olympic, okay? We're going to fall through the hurdles. We're going to trip through the hurdles. But we need to just, like, acknowledge, like, we stumbled. Let's go over the next hurdle. It's not easy, right? Stumble. There's pictures of people stumbling on these hurdles. See, like this? Can you imagine this guy? This guy is way more athletic than you and me. For freaking sure. And he's on the Olympic stage, and he did not pass the hurdle. But you know what? Do you think that he just stopped there and he said, oh, I'm just going to cry? No, he composed himself and he went back at the race, or he trained after this competition was done, and he said, you know what? I might have not hit Rio 2016, but I'll try again the next time. I don't think the Olympics happened last year. Yeah, the Olympics didn't happen last year. But see, like, if you fall, you gotta get back up. And yeah, it's embarrassing, but if you stumble in life, please see yourself as a track runner. And if it makes you feel better, look at these runner hurdles. Look at these people running and stumbling. See this woman over here? Not the proudest moment, but if you move forward and you keep going at it, maybe you'll find yourself at the Olympics like this guy. Did this guy actually get a medal? Let's look at it. Jumis hurdle. See? I mean, that in itself, even though people would see that's embarrassing, like, he has gone way, he has done way better than you and I. Oh, see? So look at this. During the semifinal, he violently crashed and stumbled over the first hurdle, causing a disqualification. In spite of this, he ran the remainder of the race, and he received a standing ovation as he left the track. So you guys got to think of yourself like this, okay? If you guys are like losing hope about certain situation, look at this guy, this Drumas guy stumbling over his first hurdle. It must have been embarrassing. You know, he had years and years and countless hours of training, and the first freaking hurdle on the Olympic stage, he got disqualified. But he finished it. So he did not get any medals, it seems like. But I think that that is a symbol of inspiration and hope. Not all failures have to, not all failures have to be seen as just like a thing that you can't bounce back from. For this, it's like if I saw a person who tripped on a hurdle, I'd be like, you know what, just, you'll do better in the future. It looks like he didn't compete afterwards, but he finished his race, and that's what's important. So arbitrary goals seem, such as 100 days, seem ill-conceived. In most cases, the matter of falling off the bandwagon must. It's like people have this idea that, yeah, if they're motivated, they got to do something every single day. But I think that really sets you up for failure. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. I don't believe in like I'll shed 50 pounds or something in like 1 year, or 6 months, right? Like every week I have to lose X amount of weight, and if I don't drop the 50 pounds in 6 months, then I'm a failure, because that sets your mind up for failing, because you're gonna start having anxiety, like, oh crap, what if I don't lose that 50 pounds in 6 months? Oh, I'm such a loser, But at the end of it, like, most of us have more than 6 months to live, and you want to lose the weight because you want to have a healthier future. So that goes back at the thumbnail for this stream, right? Don't hyper focus on the short term too much. You got to think long term. You say, okay, I want to lose 50 pounds in 6 months. If you fall short and you only lose 30, guess what? You can try to lose the other 20 pounds in 6 months and see if you can do it. But at the end of it, people, when they know for weight loss, like, I noticed that even though it seems cool to say I've dropped X amount of weight in this short amount of time, what people really notice is if you lost the weight or not. They don't really care too much if you have this, like, if you lost the weight in 6 months or 100 days or 1 year. They just want you to be healthier. They want you to accomplish your goal. So don't pressure yourself with this whole thing like, I need to do this by this certain time. And I know people would say, Erica, you sound like a hypocrite because you want your 100K subscribers by 2 years. But I realize, like, you know what, that's my goal. If I don't hit it, if I only hit 6,000 subscribers in 2 years, then I'll be okay with it, because I have that goal in my mind and I'm trying to be better at this stuff. And I work at it. I've tried my thumbnails. I try to make more focused streams. I try to get less off tangent, but I'm still on tangent. And at the end of it, the subscriber thing, it's a number. But why I want 100,000 subscribers is I want the silver play button so I can look back at life and say, you know what? I got 100K subscribers. I actually have something that I can look back when I'm an old lady and say, I have this plaque. But it wouldn't just be me. It wouldn't just be all about me. It would also be representative that I've had 100,000 people who followed me and, stuck through my crappy streams or my non-microphone streams. And it's really something. It's really something. But like all of you guys who listen to my stream, I don't see you as a number. I see you as individuals. And I hope you gain something from my streams. I hope that you guys have the confidence to tackle more goals in your life and you don't set yourself up for unrealistic expectations. Now, I'm not saying like your goals are unrealistic. What I'm saying is that you need to be kinder to yourself. If you want to lose weight, treat yourself gentler. I think that sometimes people, they treat themselves like they got to be a sergeant in a boot camp. But I think of it like you got to treat yourself as like a child, right? Someone who it's like you got to make the goals easy to accomplish in terms of like stepping stones. Okay, so you want to you want to eat healthier. What's the food that's healthier? Okay, more vegetables. Okay, less processed foods. Let's cut out the sugar. So when you go to the supermarket, you say, okay, today I'm not going to buy soda and I'm not going to buy Cheetos. Or if I do buy Cheetos, I'm going to buy the small bag instead of the big bag. And, you can wean yourself down off processed foods. But if you let's say you say, you know what, my friend's having a birthday party, I'm going to eat the cheesecake or I'm going to go to the all-you-can-eat buffet, and you fall off the bandwagon, don't beat yourself up. Say like, yeah, I screwed up, but you know what? Life is not all about being perfect. But after you go to, let's say, eat that cheesecake or the all-you-can-eat buffet, you can go back home the next day and say, I'm going to get back on track. And that's the important thing to do. So don't think like just because you have a quote failure or a setback that it has to be permanent. Really. Yeah, like I would not, like if I had a kid and my kid had this like ambitious, let's say my kid was like, "Oh, I'm going to make sure that I never eat a brownie again because I want to be healthier." And then my kid has a brownie. I'm not going to tell my kid like, "Oh, you're such a failure. Like you're such a loser. You said you weren't going to eat a brownie and here you are eating a brownie." I would say, "You know what? Life is short. You want to eat the brownie, just keep it in moderation." That's it. That's it. You know, eat smaller portion of brownie instead of eating like one whole tray. Just eat like a little square, or eat one square a week, or you know, one square a day, or then one square every 2 days, and then one square a week, and then maybe one square every 2 weeks. Or you know, it gets to a point where it's like you don't even think about it. You just kind of naturally wean yourself off of eating certain things. So that's how I was with soda. I used to drink soda. I used to really crave soda, and then I found there's this thing called diet soda, but I don't think diet soda is that great. And then from there, I went over to sparkling water, and now it's like I don't even drink sparkling water that often at all. Maybe like once a month or so. Why is he doing it? Why would anyone want to imitate? You mean the 100 day guys? He's doing it because he wants to challenge himself to have, let's say, a more spacious apartment of sorts. But I just thought to myself, like, man, this guy's saying he's not giving away junk, and yeah, 100 items. That's pretty. That's probably some pretty good stuff. Probably some stuff that takes up a lot of space. And yeah, and then the other thing too is that if we move, I want to make things easier. I want to live a life where everything I'm surrounded with, it's things that I really cherish and I really like. And I can say like the items that I surround myself are items of that I perceive to be of quality, items that I have usefulness for. And then if we move, right, I don't have to deal with the whole thing of like, oh man, I feel so overwhelmed by all the stuff I have to get rid of. Like, yeah, I might feel overwhelmed if we're moving, but it'll get to a point where it's like, okay, well, a lot of the stuff I already want to keep because I've been going through this for the last 50, like let's say 200 days in a row. So a lot of the stuff I would just keep, but like decor wise, a good chunk of it is just like dried flowers. So, with the dried flowers, you can just compost that. I hope that they have like those community garden places where I can just drop off like dried flowers and they can go back in the earth naturally instead of throwing it in the trash can. And then all you have to do is just say, okay, next time, next place where we live, I just get some dried flowers and I start over again, right? So that stuff is super easy. Full floral is nice because you just put in a box and it's just like, just ship it over. It's light, it doesn't break, and yeah. Oh, the resolution. Oh, the scale was actually a body scale. So it was like this yellowy plastic scale. And I picked it up, and I don't really weigh myself too much, but I like looking at my weight maybe once every month or once every 2 months. But I liked having a scale because in case I was curious, like, oh, what do I weigh today? Let me weigh myself. I think right now today I'm like 120 pounds, and it doesn't really mean much. I don't really, like I said, the number doesn't mean much to me. It's more like how my clothes fit on me that I pay attention to. Yeah, so Wes says, are you gonna have someone do your lawn, or are you almost gonna mow? I don't know. It's dependent on like how big the area is, like how much lawn space there is. I imagine I'm gonna be mowing. But in terms of the pool, yes, I will probably have a pool person because I don't know how to maintain a pool. I don't trust myself maintaining a pool. Like I could learn, but in terms of like getting right into it, understanding filtration and let's say specific figures or how to clean the pool, I have to watch someone do it for sure. Oh no, it's not something that's really that's what was I say? Yeah, so yeah, the other thing too is like the whole point of the stream is like sometimes like you fall short or you have, let's say, something that's unforeseen. You can take time off, or you can just like say like, man, I broke my diet, that really sucks. But don't lose track of time. Like the 100-day guy, right? He lost so far 45 days. He could have posted something. If he posted something like four items a week, right? 7 divided by 45 is 6. He could have had 24 items outside of his apartment, but he didn't. So he's only posted, if I remember correctly, 10 items, and his goal is to get to 100 items by July. Now we're in June. I'm thinking most likely he's not going to be able to get rid of 100 items, and 90 items in the course of 28 days. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being pessimistic, but even for me, like if I had to get rid of 98 items in 28 days, unless I drop it off, unless I like corral it and I just say, okay, just throw it into a charity shop or something. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I like the idea of like the things that I pick up goes directly into someone else's home, because it's like I reduce things from the landfill, I save people money, and then it also makes me think like, yeah, it's like bringing it's like that way you pass it on. So for instance, right, one of the other reasons why I'm so strongly about giving things away for free is if you receive something for free from someone, or you pick it up from, let's say, a free store for free, when you want to declutter, what are you most likely going to do? You're going to say, I remember I picked something up from someone for free, so maybe I'll pass it forward and I'll post this item for free. Or maybe I'll have my own free box. Or maybe I'll drop things off at that free store that I always pass by. So you encourage people to also give within their community, not just strictly to the charity shops, okay? Not just strictly to the Savers or the Goodwill, but within directly into the hands of the people who live in their community, and it's $0 and 0 cents. So that's very, very important in my opinion. Can you do window boxes? Nah, I don't like having real plants here because it actually stresses me out. The fact that you can end up with bugs, the whole no-see-um situation, that one really affected me. If you guys remember the Great No-See-um situation, I think that was like 2019, 2020, 2020, I think. We had these no-see-ums that came in from the outside. We had like the world's worst windows. Okay, even if you close them, because they're not good, you can, for some of the windows, I can actually stick my fingers in between the two window panes when they're closed. Like one slides up, it's basically like you slide the window up so it's like half open. But yeah, the gap between the two windows is so significant that's why all the bugs can go in. And we have a window screen, but again, there's like a half-inch gap in some of these windows, and that's why the bugs just come in. So when the no-see-ums came in, some people were thinking like, oh, Erica, maybe you brought something home and you brought the no-see-ums in. That wasn't the situation, because when Lewis and I were coming back home, we would see no-see-ums on the ground level of the apartment that we live in. Ground level. We don't live on the ground floor. So the no-see-ums were outside, and because we stay up late at night, or Lewis streams late at night, right? He has the studio lights up. The no-see-ums are attracted to the light because of our crappy windows. Even if they're closed, they just fly in. And then I found out they made a home in the bathroom sink. And yeah, so their breeding ground is moist, wet areas, and they really like laying their eggs in plants, moist soil, right? So when I found that out, I thought, crap, I got to get rid of all the stagnant water. I need to get rid of all the living plants here. So we have 0 living plants here. All the floral we have are dried floral. Absolutely no moist soil in here. Again, no living plants. That's why you see so much fake floral here, because I did not want to have to deal with these bugs breeding in my plants, because it was terrible. No-see-ums are basically like mosquitoes, and they suck your blood, and it's super itchy. The bites are way more itchier than a mosquito bite, and it had a lasting effect on me. So I have not seen no-see-ums in a really long time. I also know they're attracted to fresh flowers. So I brought in some fresh flowers once, and I saw the no-see-ums in the apartment just like run to these fresh flowers, and I thought, wow, these bugs are attracted to the pollen, the scent of the flowers. Even though I can't smell it, the no-see-ums are attracted to it. And coincidentally, around the time when we had the no-see-ums, I had fresh flowers out. So combination of the lights plus the flowers, the bugs can smell it. That's not good. I was also diffusing bergamot during around that time. Bergamot is a type of citrus, and no-see-ums are allegedly attracted to citrus. And there's a good number of them in Florida, and guess what Florida has a lot of? They're known for their citrus trees. So, yeah, so that's why you don't see me do that kind of stuff. You don't see me have plants because I don't want this apartment being a no-see-um magnet. Fake flower, dried flower is the way to go, in my opinion. No, Zoltan, don't say that stuff. Zoltan says, I stumbled once, so I'll never be successful again. Do you know how many people who are like CEOs? I know this sounds so preachy, but do you know how many people who are CEOs started when they were, let's say, in their like 40s or 50s? There's a whole list. Let me show you guys this one. List of CEOs by age. Like Jack Ma started, I think, in his 40s or something like that. When did entrepreneurs become successful or something like that? When did entrepreneurs become successful? I know Jack Ma is one of them. There's like a graph of this. Chart age. Okay, here we go. Percentage of founders by age group. Look, a good chunk of them are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and some of them are even in their 60s. So don't think that if you stumbled once, like that's it, that's kaput. Like, please do not think that. If you have time on your side, you don't know if you're gonna be making the next, I don't know, great invention like the Snuggie or something. Like the Sham Wow or the Snuggie or the, what else is there? Yeah, I want to say the My Pillow guy. I know that's controversial, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, those freaking no-see-ums. Oh, I hate those no-see-ums. No, I don't think all influencers are fake. I don't like blanket statement influencers, but I will say this. From what I noticed, there's a good chunk of people, not everybody, but there's a good chunk of people where they have this YouTube persona, and they show a certain side of them, and then when it comes to real life, they're different. So it reminds me of that one girl. Remember that one girl who was doing stuff to her dog? This one. What's her name? This girl. Yeah. What's her name? There. I'm not gonna say her name, but this one. So what happened was she got this dog, and her channel blew up after she got this dog. I don't know what's so great about this dog. I'm gonna be honest here. I mean, there's so many people out there with dogs and pets, but like people started watching her more when she incorporated the dog. And she was editing video, and she accidentally uploaded the raw footage instead of the edited video. So you see this part of her where it looks like she's not doing such nice things to the dog. I won't say it, but you guys can read it. So she was not charged. See? So allegedly, it looked like there was some spit involved in there. Like the dog was acting up, and her reaction to it was to smack it, to spit at it. I would actually recommend looking at that because I think it's very insightful to see like how her channel is, right? How she comes off at, and then you see that footage and you realize like, oh crap, like. Yeah, and then you also have this whole persona. You see a lot of YouTubers have this kind of stuff, and they're just like, "Hey fam, it's your girl." That I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's like saccharine sweet. It's like sweeter than stevia." Yeah, it's like, oh gosh, I can't get I can't seem to like people like that because I think those people are super fake, but seems like other people love subscribing to those kind of people. You got the people who are like fake happy. You got the people who are just like trying to be like, this is so awesome. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's not that awesome. Like, and then you also have other people where they make it their whole shtick to be seen as kind of like the nerdy guy, or the person who's like an outcast. And even though they are not an outcast, they always gotta be like the forever awkward kind of guy, because people tune in because of that. You know what I'm talking about? Let's say like you got those people who are just like they act, how would I describe it? Like they have to act a certain way because that's what gets their viewers interested. They can't, and if they were actually cocky, like they would turn off their viewers. But yeah, I refuse to believe that some people when they start out on YouTube, they have that same. Now, I refuse to believe that all people who start off on YouTube have that same kind of personality. Like, you might see a person who's like, appears to be really like, oh yeah, I'm a really cool person. I'm really chill. I'm really relaxed. And then you find out in person they're not really like that, or they're actually a jerk. But they have this whole thing where they're like, yeah, they act like they're really stupid, but they're not. But they only have that persona because it gets the money in. And I'm kind of reminded of Paris Hilton. Remember Paris Hilton? She's a shrewd businesswoman. People might think she's really dumb, but she capitalized a lot off that image. And yeah, now she's an advocate against like abuse that happened to her when she was younger, and I think it's really great she's using her platform for that. But yeah, I always thought Paris Hilton was not a genuinely stupid woman. I've always thought like she was very savvy, and she is very savvy. Any ideas how to get rid of ants? You know what works really good? Buy this stuff. This stuff works amazing. I know some people say like you could try cinnamon. Yeah, I mean, you could try that cinnamon powder around stuff. But this stuff, oh my gosh, it's incredible. So you can buy it locally. And these things, so you can buy the this thing where you can put a dot, or you can get these little trays. And these trays, personally, between this one and this one, I think this one is more cleaner. So you have to cut off like a certain thing, and then you just put it around where you see the ants, and then they'll go in there, and then they'll probably pass away within like 24, 48 hours. Seriously, taro is amazing. Amazing stuff. You look for it locally. This will work for sure. But again, if you don't want to use taro, look at the holistic stuff like cinnamon or pepper or something like that. What are your reasons for wanting 100,000 subscribers? I want it because when I get older, I want to say that I actually got my YouTube play button. So many people, they covet having that YouTube play button so you can hang it on the wall like, hey, I got the YouTube play button. And I want to look back at life and say, like, I hit my 100K subscribers and be a little old lady and yeah, say I got that little arbitrary goal. But no, I actually want one from YouTube. I saw Lewis's YouTube play button, so he has not only the 100K one, he also has the million, of course. And the million one, like that is not gonna happen for me. But the 100K one, I'm like, you know what? It's way more likely that one day I'll be able to hit 100K rather than one day I'll hit 1 million. So that's just my goal. But I have a 2-year goal, and we'll see what happens in 2 years. Maybe I'll hit it, most likely not, but I just kind of have that as my little arbitrary goal. Like, I wanna look back, and again, I might not hit it in 2 years. It might take me 5 years, it might take me 10 years, but I don't even know if YouTube's going to be up in 10 years. I hope it is. But yeah, I want to look back and say, I started this thing, and I remember when my channel could not break out of 5,000 subscribers, and I got to where I am now, and yeah. No, it's not appallingly city. It's not narcissism. It's like saying, why do you want to, let's say, have a ribbon if you enter an art competition? It's to have it. But it's not being narcissistic by having this goal. Narcissism is not that. I think it's just like I see certain people having that, and I want that for my channel. But and I will recognize that it's not because of, it's like when you look at that kind of stuff, it's not just like I'm really awesome, but then I'd also think there were all these people who believed in me or thought my channel was good enough, so they stayed subscribed, and yeah. Not all, not no, I mean, like, YouTube, not everybody on YouTube is like terrible or they're just fake. There are some channels that I really, really like and I learn from, but yeah, and there's some channels that's like you think they're really great, but they never break out for whatever reason. I'm like, how come they don't have more subscribers? And so, I think the algorithm just doesn't like them. Like I said, maybe they don't compliment Susan enough. Susan, if you're listening, I would like to get more up there on the YouTube algorithm, just a little, but whatever. I gave my little whole thing. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting to have more subscribers. It's like I've told you guys, right? It's like I see myself plateau right now around 4,800, 4,900. I never break out of 5,000. So now I think, like, you know what? I want to do something about it. I want to get my channel a little better. So what I did is I said, okay, let me try to be more focused on my streams. Let me try to work on certain things. The video editing, I'm going to be real here. If I did video editing for this, you would hear about from me in like 2 days. A lot of freaking editing. Susan W. Susan, okay, let's see. See? Her. She's the CEO of YouTube. I'm not really good with last names. No, I mean, no, I don't think that everybody on YouTube is an idiot. I think that people watch YouTube because they want to learn something or they want to get entertainment. And there were so many people that I follow on YouTube, and I learn a lot from them. You can learn anything on YouTube. You can learn how to cook, you can learn how to organize, you can learn how to paint, you can learn how to draw, you can learn how to sing. Hell, you can even learn how to do board repair. So all that stuff, right? That is I see YouTube as a platform where people learn stuff, or they learn stuff, or they have like a connection within a community. For instance, right, this live chat, I usually see like similar names popping up all the time. Sometimes we have Jim Hook in here, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we have Emily in there, sometimes we don't. And I really appreciate it. I think YouTube is one of those things where you can have people come together, or you can have people watch. And I like having a live stream rather than just like making these edited videos and just like preach out, because I really like having that, like, this sort of like live stream discussion. I don't like it where people, it's like you just see certain things and it's just like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I've seen like so many videos where it's kind of like preachy, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, but I mean, like, no, 95% of that, it's still basically the majority. I don't think 95% of people watching YouTube are idiots. I think that these are all people who want to, they're looking at YouTube for expanding their knowledge, for entertainment, or they just go on YouTube because they want to, like I said, learn something. I watch a lot of YouTube stuff for documentaries. I was sharing something with someone today about Casey Anthony, and yeah, we had a pretty good discussion about that. And she didn't, they didn't know about Casey Anthony, and I was like, what? And then I did not know about some show that was that's like a comedy show, and I was like, oh wow, I did not know that. But you don't know this stuff unless you learn about it. And YouTube, some content creators, that make really good videos where it's short, concise, and then instead of spending hours researching something, it gets condensed down to 20 minutes. And for those content creators, I think they're doing a really great thing, because on the front end, right, it might seem like, oh, they just made a video, but then when I look at it, I'm like, God, there's so much video editing, they have a script, they got to do a lot of research, they got to know like all these pertinent details to put in, especially when it comes down to like certain like code cases. Or yeah, you got a lot of like, okay, this happened and this happened, and then you got to transition it well. It's a lot of work. Oh, Casey Anthony? Yeah, look her up. Look her up on Wikipedia. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Uh, so that like crippled what the country for, I think, like a year or so. She was always on Nancy Grace. So being able to watch these concise documentaries about her, it's like, wow, it's quite a refresher. So she was a mother who allegedly um, made her child disappear. And it's been very contested. I think she just tried to save her own butt, but I could be wrong. Because she was alleging like it was an accident. And I'm just like, oh gosh. Yeah. So I'm gonna get going, you guys. But I just like having, this conversation with you guys. Again, the reason why I want a YouTube play button is because I want to look back at my life and say I had this goal in my mind, and maybe I did not accomplish it in 2 years. Maybe I don't accomplish in 5 years. Maybe, hell, maybe I don't even accomplish in 10 years. But at least I tried towards it. And that's why I made that video. I know some people would say, like, how could you make a video like that declaring your goal because you most likely will fail? But I thought, like, hey, it's a good anchor point, right? I'll look back in 2 years and see where my channel is. Maybe I'm only at, I hope in 2 years I'm more than 5K subscribers. I hope in 2 years I break out of the 4,900 range. But we will see. We will see. Actually, I would not like it if I don't break out of 5K. I'm just waiting. I'm like waiting. But yeah, that kind of stuff. No, I actually do want it for myself. I want to be able to say and know, right? I had all these people who followed my channel, and I not only, made these streams, but I learned so much. Whenever I have these live stream discussions with you, I learn from you guys as well. It makes me kind of think like about a different perspective on stuff, or I learn new things, and I find more value in that than me just preachy. And right, sometimes you guys ask questions and I'm able to answer it. Sometimes I'm not, and other times other people are able to answer those sort of things. That's totally fine. Why do you care? I care because I see the YouTube plaque as a symbol of hitting a goal. Not too many times in life do we actually have, let's say, medals or plaques for people, right? I mean, like when you participate in a science fair, maybe you'll get that. If you enter a beauty pageant, you'll get maybe like a participation award. I mean, I don't know, but like YouTube is one of those things, like you can be any age and you have this goal, and if you hit your goal, they're like, hey, congratulations, you hit your goal, here's a shiny little play button. And that is something that I want. I want to say like, yeah, I have a little play button, and it's great to see it. And it that kind of stuff, just seeing it or knowing that I accomplished it, I'd be like, I hit a goal, but it's not just all on me. It would also be you guys as well, right? It's not just like, oh, okay, I amassed it. It's like I had to consistently, you know, make videos that you guys found interesting, or you guys want to stay on this path with me. And yeah, so it's not like I know, like I said, I can see how the play button can see being as narcissistic, but I don't see it as narcissistic. I see it as like the physical manifestation of a goal, where you can actually touch it, you can actually see it, you can hang it on a wall and be like, I worked really hard on something, and I made content, and I had this little journey in life, and I ended up with 100K subscribers at some point. And yeah, when I'm an old lady, I hope I get to like my 80s or 90s. Okay, when I'm an old lady, I can look back and say, I still have my play button. That's it. So it's like having that nice little shiny thing where you can look back at it and say like, yeah, I worked really hard on something, and it paid off. Now, not everybody who makes YouTube videos does hit 100K subscribers. Like I've said, I've come across like some YouTube people who make these videos, and they're really good videos, but they never get there. And I think part of it is like the algorithm doesn't like them, or sometimes they give up. Sometimes I see channels where they have really good videos, and then the content creator just disappears off the face of the earth for about 4 months or more, right? Like 2 years. It's like, where did this person go? They had such great videos. And I also hear videos about people who they say like, yeah, I don't want to make YouTube videos anymore because it's not worth, like they're not getting too much monetization. I've been very upfront about it. Like, I only make usually something like 25 cents a video. All my videos that I make, it usually only makes about 25 cents. So don't think it's like I make these videos because I'm raking in money. That's definitely not it. But for someone who spends all this time and they don't have, let's say, a community, or they don't have a group of people, they could get very dissuaded, because some people, they just get into YouTube purely for the money, right? And they think like, oh, if I have like a nice setup and I have I look on point, then people are going to be interested in me. And then people don't come, and then they feel like, okay, well, I want to give up because I spent X amount of hours on YouTube and I'm not seeing the return. I've seen content creators, I watched videos from content creators where they just bow down the platform, and they say like, oh, I spent all this time, I spent 20 hours a week on YouTube, and I only made like $800 that month. It's like, well, and they're like, I don't know if it's worth my time anymore. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my gosh. So then some people, they just stop YouTube because they feel like the YouTube money is just too little for them to continue. And I think like, okay, if you look into YouTube as purely a financial point, then if you have, let's say, like less income, you're going to get weeded out, right? Because you're going to say, oh, okay, well, I thought I would make like tons and tons of money, but I only end up making like $10 that month. And yeah, for people who get into YouTube in the beginning, they could be very dissuaded. So it really weeds out people. But a lot of the people, if they get into YouTube and then they just don't see, like they're trying to get into it for the monetization or something, and the money isn't there, then it weeds them out naturally. Because if you're chasing it for the money, then you're not going to stay there long term. See? Yeah. Yeah, like some people are actually like some people have this misconception, or they might have this conception like, oh, she makes this video for an hour, she makes an edited video, and she must be raking in the money. No, that's not the case. That's not the case, because you know what you have to factor in? You have to factor in a lot of my content. Like some of the topics I talk about, that is not advertiser friendly. So I don't get ad revenue for that. If I make content that's controversial, then I don't get ad revenue for that. If I make content where like I have copyrighted stuff, I don't get ad revenue for that. And it's like I know this stuff getting in. I'm like, you know what, screw it. I wanna watch this stuff with you guys, or I wanna share it with you guys. I wanna play this song for you guys. And yeah, but this is not something content creators are supposed to do. You're supposed to be thinking like, okay, I gotta make my videos like 10 minutes long, and I gotta make it engaging so people don't click away after the first 30 seconds or so. So yeah, if you have a YouTube channel and you look at the analytics, it can be very sobering as well. What are the precautionary principle? You have a unique personality. What if you have a, you know what? I'm gonna look at life like I hope I get 100K subscribers in 2 years or at some point in my life, but it's like, even if I don't hit 100K subscribers in 2 years, it's not like I'm gonna fall off the radar after 2 years and be like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna hit the, no. It's like, I like the idea of having not a gold play, a silver play button. But if I don't get it, it's like, okay, well, just keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, and like I fully acknowledge I might not be able to hit it in 2 years, might not be able to hit it in 3 years or 4 years or 5 years or 10 years, but I hope eventually in one point in my life I get it. I hope I'm not like 45 years old, like let's say, what will that be, 13 years from now, and I'm like, you guys, I finally got my play button. I know I said I wanted to get it when I was 34, but I hit it when I'm 45. But yeah, if I hit it, I'd be happy. It might take me a little longer, but we'll see. Nah, what effect will it have on your well-being? None, actually, because I'm still doing what I'm doing. I haven't. It's not like I go out there with the script and you see, like you can tell with my content, this thing is obviously not scripted. I'm not the best speaker. I think I'm trying to get better, but it's not like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I gotta hit 100K. No, it's just like, it's a side thought. It's like saying I run and hopefully one day I'll be better at running and maybe one day I'll be able to run a marathon, but it's not like it controls my day-to-day kind of thing. I don't wake up thinking I must hit 100K subscribers. I wake up and I do go about my day, and then if I find something interesting, then I share it with you guys. And I think like, okay, let me try to make a prettier thumbnail this time, or let me try to make sure I'm more on point, like I'm more focused. But yeah, I don't just have this whole 100K like floating in my head, like I need to hit that. Like, no. Mm-mm. Well, look, I mean, what if you obsess and obsess and turns out to be a counterproductive? I don't obsess and obsess over this. You can ask Lewis about this if you don't believe me. Like, I will ask him things like, hey, what do you think I can do to improve my channel? And he'll give me some pointers, but I don't look at things like aimlessly for hours, like how to get more subscribers. Like, no. I worked on my thumbnail. I try to be more focused. That's it. What's sunk cost fallacy? I'm using electricity. I'm running OBS right now. There's no sunk cost fallacy on this. It's not like I made a huge investment into YouTubing. Really, like if anybody wants to be a YouTuber, all they need to have is a computer. Really, they just need to have a computer. I mean, or a phone, and you just upload footage and you just like upload it straight away. 2 years from now, what would have been the sunk cost? I don't know. I'm continuing doing what I want to do, and yeah, I mean, like, can you believe it? Actually, let's talk about 2 years. Did you guys know that I've actually been on YouTube for about 2 years. Did you guys know that? Like, I was so shocked. I didn't even realize. I had no idea I've been on YouTube for that long. So, let me see over here. So, like, 2 years goes by like a freaking quick thing. It's crazy. Oh, crap. Hold on. Damn it. Look at this. Like, it's insane because I did not realize how much videos I made. I made an insane amount of videos. Like, oh my gosh. I gotta like one day figure out like way to organize it, but it's a little crazy how many videos I have. I have over, listen to this, I have over 950 videos. It's like I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was made so much video. But I will talk to you guys later. I gotta really get going. But overall, as long as this, oh my gosh, it's been a 1 hour 30-hour stream. Overall, I hope that no, I mean, like, if I change, it's not like I'm gonna be a sellout, okay? Like, that's not it. It's just that I just want to continue doing what I do. But I think that I can do this in a better way. So, for instance, right, working on your thumbnail, that doesn't change who you are. You just kind of figure, like, okay, instead of seeing, like, the OBS screen, you see things that show the, you have a nice little title picture or thumbnail picture over there. But, yeah, it's not that, it's not like I'm gonna be one of those, like, fake YouTubers who just do that kind of stuff, because, yeah, there's just, like, those kind of people naturally irritate me. I shouldn't say that, but it's like, when you're on YouTube, like I said, you have this pressure to have a certain persona and a certain kind of way that you come off. I think they call that charismatic. And I think that, like, I know myself very well. I don't have that kind of persona where I can just be so giddy about something. And I don't want to have that kind of channel where I'm just like doing this whole thing. Like, I'm telling you guys, oh yeah, so, today we're going to look at this awesome, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and I had a really great day, and yeah, if you want to see more content like this, and like, share, and subscribe, like, or smash that bell, like, oh my gosh, I think that's so tiring. That's why you never hear me say that kind of stuff. Like, I remember I made a video edit and I said, like, share, subscribe, but I really don't like the idea of, like, really telling people that, because it makes me feel, like, a little cringy. But I don't know, I should actually do that, but on the flip side, I'm like, I don't really want to. Yeah, it's like one of those things. Like, you hear all these people, it's like, oh yeah, like, smash that like button, ring the bell, da 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 da. No, just no. That's not really me. So, if you guys like my content, then subscribe. If you like the video, then like it, give it a thumbs up. I'm not gonna be, telling you guys, like, hey, did you forget something? Did you guys forget to smash that like button? Actually, maybe I'll do that in a stream one day. But I know everyone's going to listen to this stream and they'll be like, oh my gosh, Erica, oh my gosh. But who knows? Plus, I use my YouTube community page, as I've told you guys before, like my freaking Instagram. Or I'll just be like, oh yeah, you guys, like, look at this cool thing, or look at this, and yeah. Or I see a meme and I'm like, oh yeah, let me show you this. And I got to be mindful of that, because I know not everybody wants to get their community page spammed by me about the freaking Instapot or something like that. Okay, you guys. So you guys take care. I will talk to you guys later. And yeah, if you guys encounter any setbacks or something like that, or if you guys like fall short of your goal, like, don't hyper focus on the failure. Focus more on getting back up and moving forward. See ya.